Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Glad to see you this morning. Time of worship. As we begin, we need to make a couple highlights on our announcements this morning on things that are happening this week. There's a couple things that are not in the bulletin. I want to just go ahead. At least one thing is not in the bulletin. I want to mention that first. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, we'll continue up at the Long Drive site for the renovation. 4 o'clock tomorrow. We'll be in there. I don't know how many saw some of the pictures, some of the slides on there. If you go on Facebook, you can see the update, and there's a 15-second video of Tom and this Tommy tearing down the roof. He is the mean man tearing down the ceiling machine. I hiked him this morning. Got a lot done yesterday, and so we'll continue to work, continue to progress up there. Tonight at 5 o'clock, I want to get together with the choir. Come on out. We need to discuss when's the best time to practice and try to open up an extra night during the week. So tonight, we'll want to find out from you at 5 o'clock on Sunday nights to work for our choir adventure. And I also want to get ideas of things we're going to do in the future. Mother's Day is coming up. And Christmas, Christmas is coming up. We got the tax file last week too. Then tonight at 6 o'clock, our evening worship. Wednesday at 9, Women in Faithful Fellowship. Thursday, Study in Acts. And then I want to put a special plug in here, that spaghetti dinner. Have you heard about spaghetti dinner, by the way? It's a fundraiser for the new church kitchen. It's got spaghetti, salads, bread, cake, drinks, and entertainment. And proceeds are going to go for the new kitchen. Tickets are $10 for adults, $5 for kids ages 4 to 12. And if you're under that, I guess it's free, right? We'll see the little ones eat that spaghetti. That's this Saturday. That's this Saturday. And we'd really like to have a number how many are coming. Jamie's got the tickets. All right. Oh, she's holding them up right there. You can grab her meet and greet if you want, because after we sing Celebrate Jesus, we're going to do a little meet and greet. And then while you're meeting and greeting, just kind of pre-living here that we're going to hear that music playing again in the background, all right? Then when you hear me kick in and start singing, that they kind of cue to get back to your seats. But no, I wouldn't try to get the tickets here and meet and greet. So please see Jamie after service today. Get a camera on that, and that's good enough. this Saturday. Sign up in the back for some needs for the ladies' luncheon, the daughters' luncheon, come up May 13th. There's a supply list back there. Thank you for your help on that. And just a quick mention again to other events coming up rather quickly in August as well. How many believe August right around the corner, right? So, anyway, have you had a great Sunday school this morning? Amen. Well, I'll tell you what, some great fellowship there. We're looking forward to some more great fellowship here. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's come to our feet. We still celebrate Easter. We only celebrate Easter on days that end in Y, and that'll be every day. And he's still alive. He's as much alive today as he was last week. So let's celebrate Jesus because he is risen from the dead. Right? Okay, you don't have to clap on this. But actually, there is clapping. Celebrate Jesus, celebrate. Celebrate Jesus, celebrate. So much good. Celebrate Jesus, celebrate. Celebrate Jesus, celebrate. He is risen. He is risen. And he lives. He is risen. Come on, celebrate the resurrection of our Lord. Do that again. Celebrate Jesus, celebrate. Celebrate Jesus, celebrate. Celebrate Jesus, celebrate. Celebrate Jesus, celebrate. All right, we're going to be great, y'all. I don't even want to talk to you about that. Okay, so how many of you got around to everybody? All the tickets to the spaghetti dinner are sold out. And we're looking forward to that. Some great fellowship opportunities this week. I know I'm missing you folks, so hello to the rest of you that we missed out. Let's do our prayer request today. At your program, Lily is so wound up from meeting and greeting. Just look at that. Just look at that, Lily. All right. The ones I've listed for you, first of all, we continue our prayers for the Lord's Church and our outreach to the lost. Carl Ryan, as he continues radiation. Diana Dunlap, she has an upcoming doctor's appointment. April Keepers asked for prayer. You can see this one, April. She's on all-night shift, by the way. And Bessie, you're on all-night shift. So, Greg, when you start dozing back here, just let you know these days are all night. If you do, that's good. It's the best place to doze, isn't it? Right? Sasha's been up all night too. Okay, she's sticking her tongue out. Hey, Rich Kimball says hello to everybody. He loves y'all. They moved him over to Trinity Medical Center East. He's on the 7th floor. I think he said 712. So if you're down there where it's Trinity East, he was over there. Lincoln has some more congestion. That's like that congestion pneumonia thing. I don't know if it's pneumonia, but he's been having some breathing trouble again this week. Also, Jim Bill Stark. Those are the ones listed. Jim Bill's at the Gators Care Center. Now, here's some that I've given this morning. And I have these listed for taking notes. First of all, this is a friend of Chrissy's, Florence Taylor. Florence Taylor. She's a friend of Chrissy Cunningham. Florence is at Youth Medical Center. Mark Mullendale. Mark Mullendale. This would be Miranda Dennison's father. Had a lot of health issues. Starts off with his knees needing replaced. He also fell, having trouble with his hip. So now he's in Akron Hospital. On top of all of that, he's now paralyzed from his waist down. And that's not all the story yet. He also, they now has colon cancer. Just keep on prayer. Things are not good there. So that's Mark Owen. L.B. Owens' grandfather. He kind of put all the pictures together. Judy Parkinson. Judy Parkinson. This is Goldie. Did you give me Judy? Is that you? Okay, this is a friend of Goldie's. Judy's from Medina, Ohio. Had a leg amputation and also has cancer. Judy Parkinson. She's in the James Cancer Center in Columbus. Sally Creighton. You see Sally this morning. Sally's awaiting approval for an MRI for her knee. How many of you see Sally walking around town from time to time? She does more walking around town than I did back to the principal's office doing in high school. And but anyway, we're praying that we get some answers for that until we get approval for that MRI. Now, Katie, this is Don Dorsey's granddaughter. She's still got a way to go. She's been to Katie's clinic in the last 3 weeks or so. She's doing some better, and you said she's smiling again, right? Smiling again and laughing again. And Hunter is doing much better. Appreciate your continued prayers. And last but not least, Andy Rossett, that's one S and one T. The doctor said it's a miracle because they were talking about amputating part of the toe, maybe amputating part of the foot, and maybe amputating part of the leg. And now they're open, looking like they do not have to do anything. So we're going to go to our prayer time. It's a continuation of the theme of the celebration of the resurrection of Christ. And when we do, Tommy, I'll have our prayer. Got a hand up. Go ahead.
I want to hear Josh Jones.
Josh Jones.
He's going in for brain surgery on the 28th. This is a friend of mine from New Valley.
Josh Jones, brain surgery, 28. All I really wrote was Josh Jones, Pam, 28, college check this week. Later on, unless it makes us keep Josh Jones. Where's he from, by the way?
New Philly.
New Philly. You know where he's going this time. 28, that's this week. It's Friday. Anybody else? Yes,
I found out this morning that the baby, May, early, in children, they're gonna have to do surgery again. This will be like the 15th surgery for 6 months. And, it's really great. They're under new doctors and stuff, and just really pray for them because they cannot bring her home.
this is one of the missionaries, right? What's your name again?
May,
May.
baby May.
Baby May. Yes, her husband Dave. We keep him there too. Joyce.
And Joyce Capers. Not her, and Joyce.
Okay, so Joyce, we won't give out particular details on that thing. It's out now, okay. That's Jerry and Joyce Capers. Joyce has cancer. If you have, not Joyce, not this Joyce Capers, but Jerry and Joyce live down here on the street here. Aren't you glad to know that Jesus Christ lives? Yeah. So when we pray in Jesus' name, when Tom closes his prayer, we pray in Jesus' name. You're praying in the name of the one who lives forever to intercede for us. To go down there with him. You've got him by your side. Let's sing. Let's stand as we sing. And go to the Lord in prayer. Because he lives, I can taste the tomorrow. Because he lives, all is on. Because I know he always lives. And life is worth living just because he lives. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, all fear is gone. Because I know he won't give. And life is worth living just because he lives. And life is worth living just because he lives.
Heavenly Father, we want to take this time to thank you for the honor and privilege to be in your house. We want to remember that you do live, and we want to remember that you always are on our side no matter what we do. Lord, as we bring our prayer list to you, touch each and every one of these people's hearts that's on this prayer list, because your will be done. And we want to thank you so much for the doctors to take care of these people, touch them and make them make the right decisions, and the nurses that care for them. For this is in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. I cannot imagine being a doctor, having to break bad news to somebody. In the spiritual realm, we see it every day, though, people that are spiritually ill. The Bible calls it sin. Sin takes its toll. Wages of sin is death, always has been. Thankfully, we have a Savior that took notice of that, saw us in our dying condition. God takes his Son, sends him to earth, lives a perfect life, does nothing wrong, then he crucifies him, not knowing that they're actually crucifying their only hope. And then God raises him from the dead on the third day. And may the Lord give every opportunity to remember that event of crucifixion as we're literally proclaiming, telling others of our belief that Jesus died for our sins. Do you believe he died for your sins? According to Scripture, do you believe he rose again? Do you believe he ever lives forevermore? And he's your Lord and Savior. We hope. If he's not, he can be. His invitation is open all. Because God saw, he took notice. And as we were talking in Sunday school this morning, Ron was asking a question. He said, have you ever been talking to somebody, and you've given your side, your opinion of things, and as you're watching the other person, you've noticed that they're not really listening to you, they're already determining how they're going to answer you. And I kind of blurted out, have we ever done it ourselves? I've done that. And I thought of a scripture in Matthew chapter 9, verse 36. And there's a word there that just kind of jumps off the page that we often don't see. And it's in Matthew chapter 9, verse 36. And it was at a time where Jesus was going throughout all the cities and all the villages. And I mean, he's seeing people everywhere. There's crowds gathering. I don't know, sometimes you feel like you get lost in the crowd. You're in a lot. Sometimes you can feel all alone in a crowd full of people. I understand that. But if you just imagine being out with thousands and thousands of people and say, does anybody notice me? Does anybody see me where I am? Do they know what I'm experiencing? And the word that jumps off the page here in Matthew 9:36 is the word seeing. Seeing the people. Seeing the people. I hope that's what we're doing throughout this week, but today, as we come around the table, I hope we see Christ. See him dying for you. See him forgiving you. See him loving you. See him being raised for you. See him coming back one day for you. Seeing the people, he felt compassion for them because they were distressed and dispirited like sheep without a shepherd. As we come around the Lord's table today, because he gave his life for us, let's remember that he has seen us and he has compassion for us. And because of Jesus Christ, because of our salvation, because of our forgiveness, because of our hope in heaven. Let me ask you again, do you have hope in heaven this morning? Yes. You have that hope later. Because of that, we no longer need to live a life in which we are distressed and dispirited like sheep without a shepherd. Because we have a conquering Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ, who is our shepherd. And he is our sheep. Amen. I gave my life for thee, my precious blood I shed, that thou might ransom thee and bring from the dead. I gave my life for thee, what hast thou given for me? I gave my life for thee, what hast thou given for me? I suffered much for thee, more than thy tongue can tell. Of this agony to rescue thee from hell. I mourn and mourn it all for thee. What hast thou done for me? I mourn and mourn it all for thee. What hast thou done for me? Hath one to be down salvation and free, my love, I breathe riches to thee. What hast thou brought to me? I breathe riches to thee. What hast thou brought to me?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time and the privilege that we can meet in your house and to worship you and to gather around your table and to give thanks for the broken body that's here of Jesus who died for each and every one of us.
Heavenly Father, it is truly a blessing to be here today, to be among your fellow believers. It is truly a blessing. We have become more and more like a family, and I do thank you for that. But as we gather around the table, let us realize how important it is for us to commune with you. You have set this all in motion since the beginning of time, even before time began. And you want us to become a driving force in this world for you. It's my prayer that we'll gather around the table, we will bless the bread and bless the juice, and that we'll become more as what you want us to be. And thank you again for dying for our sins. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
We have a little bit of a problem. We've got the bread today. So we're going to be a minute or two.
Let us pray. Lord, this is a time of service we give back to you, be it through financial means, physical means, or ministering to each other, taking care of the families of your love and devotion. You cause us to heart, open mind, to receive your love, to take care of each other, and bless each other through you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Join us, please, as we sing the doxology, giving praise to Him. Praise God, blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him, above all the heavenly host. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen. Amen. God's good. God's good. Yeah, all the time. Gates and the doors were barred, all the windows fastened down. Spent the night in sleeplessness, rose at every sound. Half been hopeless sorrow, half been feared the day. We find the soldiers breaking through to drag us all away. Just around sunrise, I heard something at the wall. The gate began to rattle, a voice began to call. Hurried to the window and looked down into the streets, expecting swords and torches and the sound of the soldiers' feet. There was no one there but Mary, so I went down and let her in. John stood there beside me as she told us where she'd been. She said they moved him in the night and none of us knows where. The stone's been rolled away and now his body isn't there. Both ran toward the garden, then John ran on ahead. Found the stone in the empty tomb, just the way that Mary said. But the winding sheet they wrapped him in was just an empty shell. However they had taken him was more than I could tell. Well, something strange had happened there, but what I didn't know. John believed in miracles. I just turned to go. Circumstance and speculation couldn't lift me very high, 'cause I'd seen them crucify him, then I saw him die. Back inside the house again, my guilt and my anguish came. Everything I promised him just added to my shame. When at last came the choices, that night I knew his name. Even if he was alive, it wouldn't be the same. So I thought. Suddenly, the air was filled with a strange and sweet perfume. Light that shone from everywhere drove shadows from the room. Jesus stood before me with his arms held open wide. I fell down on my knees, clung to him, and cried. But he raised me to my feet as I looked into his eyes. Love was shining out from him like sunlight from the skies. My guilt, my confusion disappeared in sweet release. Every fear I ever feared just melted into peace. If you know this, I want you to sing with us. Simple message. He's alive. Oh, he's alive. He's alive. He's alive, and I'm forgiven. Heaven's gates are open wide. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive, and I'm forgiven. Heaven's gates are open wide. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive, and I'm forgiven. Heaven's gates are open wide. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. He is alive. With that, we're going to have the kids head to Children's Church. There's got to be a book out there about funny things that happen during church services. I heard one time a man that fell asleep during church service. He leaned forward, he had false teeth, and he popped right out on the floor. Not only that, one of them rolled over in and out. One of them insane incline, just like we don't want to have a floor that's on a level there. I remember a man falling asleep in church. Oh, that's good falling asleep, Greg, so don't feel bad. He still is. We're picking up Greg because every once in a while he tends to doze off. They say he was snoring a couple weeks ago. I never heard you up here, so you got to do better than that. Anyway, Mr. Powell was his name. He's about as tall as Rich Kimball. He's built like Rich Kimball. Actually, he was heavier than Rich Kimball. Rich lost weight. Rich has lost almost 100 pounds this last few months. This gentleman, he's probably pushing 300-400 pounds. He's about 6'6". His wife stood 5 foot, maybe. And when she sat next to him, her head barely came to his shoulder. And he got the storm one Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning in Fair Christian Church. He was like doing a big one. And she reached over and gave one of them good ribbons in the side. When he woke up, it was kind of like, you could hear him everywhere. It's the funniest thing I'd ever heard in church. One of the funniest things ever happened until this morning. The one day I don't check the bread. I don't think Jamie would mind me telling you, she fixed communion for us, and she just had to put the bread in. I thought those trays were a little light on the way over. I just wasn't paying attention to it. I normally check them once you get over here and check them. I just didn't check today. Just didn't check the bread wasn't there. And you know, you get those moments and you can't stop laughing. So I told her, I said, you forgot the bread, I'm going to tell them I forgot the conclusion. Keep going today, right? And we'll go right into choir practice at 5. So anyway, how about we get to it, shall we? Matthew chapter 28. Right before Jesus ascended to the Father, he gave what some preachers call the marching orders of the Lord's church. It's also been called the Great Commission. And I'm afraid oftentimes the Great Commission has become the Great Omission in the Lord's body. Jesus had appeared to his disciples over a period of 40 days after his resurrection. And at first, when they saw him, they doubted. In fact, when they first heard the news that he had been raised from the dead, they thought it was nonsense. They refused to believe. In Matthew 28, after 40 days of seeing him alive, these men are about to embark on a journey that will change their lives forever, change eternity, change our lives forever as well. Amen. Amen. And here's why. Matthew 28, let's just go back to 16, verse 16. The 11 disciples proceeded to Galilee. Remember, Judas had committed suicide. He had gone out and hung himself. He, filled with remorse, was unwilling to repent and return to God, and it overcame him. Satan got the best of him. So Judas is not with them. The 11 disciples, they come into Galilee, and they come to the mountain that Jesus had designated. And when they saw him, they worshiped, but some were doubtful. At this point, there's still, it's like, this is too good to be true. You ever have that, something that's too good to be true? And that idea of doubtful, they couldn't believe it for joy. It's like too good to be true. And Jesus came up and broke the spell. He speaks. And Lord, as you speak, may we listen. Here's what he said to them. Hear his words. All authority has been given to me in heaven and where else? On earth. Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I command you. And lo, I'm with you always. Did you hear that? I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Let's pray. Father, thank you for the opportunity to share this message. I thank you for the congregation and fellowship, the joy, Lord, even when things don't go as planned. Thank you, Lord, for the forgiving spirit, the love of this people, because we're learning that from you. Help us learn more today, Lord, why we believe that you are Christ, why your Son is truly the Messiah, our only hope. And help us then relay our faith to others without fear or with confidence, so others around us in our communities, our homes, this world can come to know who we know and have the hope that we have within us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. For those of you that are Christians this morning, I hope you can think back and remember the day, that defining moment in your life when you gave your life to Jesus Christ. Everybody needs to have this defining moment when they gave their life to Christ. Now, I always encourage people that if you can't draw from a moment in your life at that time when you gave your life to Jesus Christ, if you don't have that moment, if you don't know, can't remember what, you need to have that moment. You need to know that you know that you know that you're saved. Because before you try to save others, you have to know that you are saved yourself. And so my moment was December 7th, 1969. It was a Sunday evening. It was cold outside. We went to church anyway. You know, and we hear all sort of excuses why people don't come to church, right? It was too far. I had a neighbor in this area, right here in HOPEDALE, said it was too far for them to come here. And here sits a man out here in the audience that drove from Cincinnati, Ohio this morning to be with us. To be with us this morning. Good to have you, Bob. Good to have you with us this morning. So next time you hear that excuse, especially today, you run into somebody and say, well, it's too far. I know a fellow came all the way from Cincinnati, Ohio to be with us. So we were there on a Sunday night, December 7th, 1969. They sang all 4 verses of Trust and Obey, and my knees were rattling. Anybody afraid to get in front of people? I'm still getting nervous when I get in front of people. Once I get going, I'm okay. How many of you know that? Once I get going, I'm okay. Getting me stopped is another story. Right? I'm telling you, 4th verse, I finally came forward. And it talks about when in fellowship sleep, we will sit at his feet and we'll walk by his side the way. What he says we will do, where he says we will go. Never fear, only trust and obey. And I stepped out. And I walked up. Cheryl Story, the minister, received me at the front there. And he said, Dean, I understand you come to be baptized. He asked me, do you believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God? And guess what I said? Yes, I do. He said, Dean, would you repeat with me that good confession that Peter made? I believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of the living God. Based upon that, I went back into a small room and changed into a baptismal robe. And within minutes, I was in the water. And he raised his hand. He had his other hand on my back. I stood and looked up at him as I looked out the crowd. My mom and dad were out there. My family was out there. The whole church family. People that loved me, praying for me. People that taught me. The defining moment of my life. He said, I now baptize you in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, so your sins may be forgiven. You may receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. And he went silent. I felt him lower me in the water. I felt the water come over and raise me back up. My first thought was, I'm a Christian, now I can partake of the Lord's Supper. That was my first thought. My first thought. What an amazing journey. That was a defining moment. Years later, I revisited 139 Perry Drive there in Massimo, Ohio, Perry Christian Church. I was going through the old fellowship hall. It's all changed. They don't have worship there anymore. They got a new site where they worship right there in the building. And I went back to to see where I was baptized, and there's not even baptistry there anymore. It's gone. They took it out. For a while, it was a storage. Actually, one time they still had the baptistry, and they had a whole bunch of stuff stored in it. You say, how could they do that? Well, how many of you know that folks in the Church of Christ are good at being pack rats? Right? And churches just have that. And for a few moments, it really bothered me because that it wasn't there. But I thought, you know what? Just because that water isn't there anymore, it does not change what happened December 7th, 1969 for me. When God raised me back out of that moment. I know Cheryl Story was doing it, but the Bible says that God raised us up. Colossians 2:12, we were buried with him through faith in the operation of God and raised up. God forgave me my sins. God gave me his Holy Spirit. God gave me a living hope. He gave me a lot more. I didn't realize that all he was giving. He gave me a big family, amen? A big family, the family of God. And so when people are approaching me today, why do you believe that Jesus is the Christ? I hope people can see that I believe that Jesus is the Christ before I ever open my mouth. You know what I'm saying? To win them with that character. But there are several things I've listed. I like to list things. I'm on those obsessive compulsive disorders. Like, well, if I can go down through, why do I believe Jesus is the Christ? I'll tell you this, I guarantee you this. It's not just because mom and dad believe it. I'm glad they did. Don't get me wrong. Aren't you glad you had someone that believed, that gave you that advice, that spiritual counsel, to lead you in the direction you ought to go? That's why it's so important to choose godly mates. We were talking about the other day with a good friend. Talking about the importance, because when you allow your daughter or your son to marry someone else, that's someone else. You need to make sure they're on the same spiritual footing, same spiritual foundation, because if they're not, guess what? They could lead your child away from God and your grandchildren away from God. And that's going to have eternal purposes once they die and face the judgment. So you want to choose carefully there. So I'm glad I had parents that believe Jesus is the Christ. Mom would put stuff on the table that she believed was good to eat. It wasn't always. Sometimes it was. And there's still some of that stuff, like, I hate to say it, I won't say it. Donnie tells Damien I said it. Spaghetti. I love spaghetti. Not because mom and dad love spaghetti, but because I tried it. I liked it. Try it. Oh, taste and see if the Lord is good, the Bible says. The proof of the pudding is in the what? Proof of the pudding is in the tasting. The proof of salvation is in the experiencing. You can't just sit out there and look at it all the time. Eventually you got to say, you know what, I'm going to follow Jesus because I truly believe for myself. Not just because my mom and dad said so. Number one, I believe that Jesus is the Christ, because what you see happening right here, he's on the way out of the tomb, right? It's because of the empty tomb. The tomb is empty. That's why I believe. It's one of the reasons I believe. Number two, there were grave cloths left behind. Now, the other day, Lily was in our house. And guess what was all over the floor after she left? Toys. Toys everywhere. There are toys everywhere. And I took a picture of it and I sent it to Sam. You got to find it on YouTube sometime. Just look at that. Would you look at this guy that does some crazy comedy routine, right? He's looking at the car. Just look at that. Look at that, would you? Just look at that. Look at that. Just look at that. There's grass moving. Just look at it. And we drive her nuts, don't we? When you went into the tomb that morning, when Peter and John went to the tomb, they're looking at each other going, just look at that. Look at that. The grave cloths were left behind, and the napkin, the face cloth, was folded. But you remember the story that was spread in their day. The soldiers were told, well, listen, you tell everybody what? You tell them that the disciples came and what? Stole the body. If that was the truth, all the Romans would have had to have done was produce the body of Jesus once they began to preach Jesus. There's never been a body produced, and plus that the grave cloths were left behind. I'm telling you, if I'm stealing something, I'm stealing a body that's wrapped in grave cloths. If you were stealing a dead body wrapped in grave cloths, what's the last thing you would have done? It would have grossed me out. I'd have passed out. There ain't no way I'm taking off those grave clothes. After what Jesus had experienced on the cross, the piercing, the beating, the whipping, the blood, the mangled flesh. There ain't no way I'm taking those grave cloths off. I'm just grabbing it and running. Just as the grave cloths are left behind convinces me that he is the Christ. 4 eyewitness accounts. Eyewitness accounts. John says in John 20 and verse 30 and 31, he said, many other signs Jesus performed in the presence of his disciples. But they're not written here. He did a lot of other miracles. And I think John is talking about post-resurrection, after Jesus had been raised from the dead. Jesus worked many other miracles to prove to his disciples, it's me. I really am alive. And their initial refusal to believe at first is the fifth reason I believe Jesus is the Christ. Randy, you're talking about giving people advice, right? Yeah. And they don't always listen? How many of you ever given advice to people and they don't listen to you? They do what? Okay, here's an idea. Tell them the opposite of what you want them to do, and maybe they'll do what you have to do. I wouldn't suggest that, but here are these apostles. Here's Peter that denied him. Thomas that doubted him. And all the others that forsook him in the garden. And 50 days after the resurrection, day of Pentecost, Acts chapter 2, here they all are. All 11, actually now 12, because Matthias is added. And they're standing boldly and they're preaching Jesus crucified, buried, raised again. If it's all a prank, if it's all a hoax, why did they refuse to believe the women in the first place when they came and said, he's alive, we've seen him? The Bible says that they said, that's nonsense. Ladies, when has a man ever said to you, that's nonsense? Don't answer that, please. Ladies, you ever been told that? Men, when have the ladies ever told you, that is nonsense? Go ahead, guys, you can answer. You know better. Ladies come and they say, we've seen him, he is alive. And the words seem as nonsense. Let me ask you this, number 6. When these believers were persecuted, did they quit? Did they change their tune or their message? No, to me this is proof. To me this is proof. Over here on the side here is a thing that was given us by Spencer several years ago after he came home from Iraq. And it's the proclamation of George Bush during the Iraq War. We will not waver. We will not tire. We will not falter. We will not fail. Peace and freedom will prevail. That was October 1st or October 7th, 2001. How many remember President Bush say those things? A month after September 11th, 2001. We will not waver. Whoever wrote that, I don't know if he wrote it, but that has to be first. Because if you in your mind say, we will not waver, we are not changing course. If you have that attitude, then you won't get tired. Because you'll have that mission before you. You'll have that focus before you. You'll have that burn within you that we often feel has died. I feel that a lot of times. But the flame has died over the years. I've lost that flame I had when I was immersed as just a young child. It begins to fade away slowly because we get away from the Bible, we get away from prayer, get away from the fellowship, and we get all involved in the world, and we forget all the blessings we have. We will not waver, and when you don't waver, you won't tire, and when you don't get tired, you won't falter. You won't make silly mistakes. You won't wander in the path. And then he says, we will not fail. How many know the Church of Jesus Christ never fail? When these people were persecuted and Stephen was stoned, he didn't deny the faith. He stayed true to the end. Paul lost his head with a sword. Peter crucified upside down. Thomas thrust through with a spear. I could go on and on. And they did not falter. They did not tire. They did not fail because they determined they would not waver. Initially, though, they wouldn't believe. They refused to believe. And that can be so frustrating. I remember one time refolding a shirt that my mother gave me. She had to make it out of curtain material. I'm sure it was Bessie. It was one of the flower shirts. Now they're called Hawaiian shirts and they sell them everywhere. But I wasn't about to be caught dead wearing this at church camp. They didn't wear those kind of shirts back in those days. Not boys anyway. I took it out. I put it on. I said, there ain't no way I'm going out public with this. I took it off, refolded it, put it in my suitcase. She goes, you never had that out of the suitcase. I said, yes, I did. No, you didn't. I said, Mom, I even had it on it. She goes, it is folded exactly like I folded it when I put it in there. I want you to know, folks, it's the first time I ever folded a shirt right. That one and only time. It is the truth. God's my witness. But she did not Believe me. My point is simply this. Aren't you glad those men finally believed? And when Jesus finally did appear to Thomas a week later, which would have been the day, Thomas wasn't with them on that Passover Sunday, that Easter Sunday. A week later he was. He said, hey, Thomas, take a look. Put forth your hand, put it in my side. And Thomas did it, he didn't have to do it. He said, my Lord and my God. Thomas became believer. That doubting Thomas. The tone of the message. How many have been encouraged by the message of Christ? Been encouraged by the fellowship in Christ. I wrote these thoughts, these next 3 points, I wrote down during our study in the book of Acts, Thursday night. The tone of the message. Ron was talking about a man by the name of Barnabas in Acts chapter 4 and verse 36. Looking forward to meeting Barnabas. I heard one preacher one time saying, when we get to heaven, we'll have to look up Barney. Look for Barney. Barnabas. He was called the son of encouragement. He was what some people call a balcony person. Those are people that lift you and build you and strengthen you. They're the ones that lighten the room when they enter the room, not leave it. You know, he was an encourager. And the tone of the message of this book, the gospel, is one of encouragement. If you take in your studies in Acts chapter 14 and verse 21 through 22, the Bible says that they went to all the churches and they encouraged them and they strengthened them. And they said, listen, before we get to heaven, we're going to go through a lot of persecution. We're going to go through a lot of tribulation. Did you hear me, folks? I know we talk about spaghetti dinners. Great breakfast last Sunday morning, wasn't it? By the way, thank you. I'm thinking, like, great Sunday last Monday, was it not? I love that fire presentation. How about you? Right? That was awesome. What an honor to be a part of it. We talk about all those wonderful things, those touchy things, those good things, those feel-good things. But there also is tribulation, there is persecution, there are trials. And so they're encouraging the brethren, and they're strengthening the brethren. They're building up the brethren. And that's one of the reasons why I believe the credibility of the message of the gospel. Because it's not a dictatorship. It's not like a communist regime where people are oppressed. You know what I'm talking about? Where they're oppressed and they're stamped out. This offers freedom. Freedom of sin and freedom of being who God made you be. I think that's why this morning when the bread was forgotten, I mean, it went off without a hitch, right? What even a hitch? Was it? Some churches would have called a meeting and had a big to do about it. It's like, hey, okay, if it happens again, now I guarantee you it's usually taking a bit longer. Let's bring the bottle over. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to get off here. But the encouragement. Well, when you think about it, it wasn't the original cup one time, right? Jesus just passed the cup. They all drank out the same. And be encouraged. That's the tone. Number 2, which is really number 8 on this. Another reason is the range of the mission of Christ. This gospel, this offer. I just heard last week, a good friend of ours, in their husband and their child. I'm not going to say who. They're at Disney World today. Maybe if they're there, I don't know. They're going to Disney World. I don't know if you want to go to Disney World or not. How many of you want to go to heaven? Yeah, great. You all over here can, but sorry about you all. Tough luck. Well, that's not the range of this. This gospel is for who? Everybody. Everybody, everywhere, every generation. That's one of the reasons I believe. And then the third thing I wrote was this: the extent of the transformation in a person's life. You think of Peter, who was a coward, denied the Lord 3 times, right? Now he's standing boldly before thousands of people saying, this Jesus whom you crucified, God's made him famous. Where did he get that transformation? It wasn't from himself. It wasn't from a self-help class, right? It wasn't from some weight loss program. This is not feel good about myself. It's from Jesus coming to live inside. If you can look in the mirror and realize the one that's in the mirror is not just you. The window of the soul, the eyes, right? They say the window of the soul, the eyes. You look in the mirror, and you're looking in the window of your soul. And if you're only seeing you, And that's hopeless, and that's despair. But you see Jesus living in you because he loves you and he died for you. That's the extent of the transformation. And he can make you brand new in one life. No reincarnation. Reincarnation, the idea that if I die, and if I did a really good job, I'll move up on the scale, come back as a different person in a different social class, a better social class, right? Now, if I didn't do so well, then I'm on a lower scale, and maybe even a fly or a bug. Even worse, a stink bug. You can look at that. You know what I'm saying? Reincarnation, if people really believe that stuff. And I heard one time of a druggie. This lady had left her baby at home in an apartment up in Canton, Ohio. And while she was getting her fix and doing her stuff with her drugs, the apartment caught fire and killed her baby. And when she's sitting in the back of the police cruiser outside the burning apartment, one of our preachers from the church up there, Daryl Sprunger, he was one of the chaplains. He'd come try to help this lady. And she's in the back seat blaming God. Why God killed my baby? Why God? And she was really getting nasty. He finally looked back and said, lady, I guess he'd had it. Right or wrong, he said, lady, God didn't kill your baby. You're responsible. And then she said, well, do you believe in reincarnation? She was somehow hoping that her baby would be reincarnated and come back so she could be rejoined with her baby again. And he looked back and tried to share the gospel with her. He said, ma'am, I believe that God is able to transform in one lifetime those whom he has redeemed. He doesn't have to have another life. He can do it for you now, today, forever. Amen? Amen. The transformation, the extent of it, meaning we are complete in him. And as I said before, the nature of this offer. You consider Romans chapter 5, verses 6 through 8, which is really the platform for everything I'm saying today. Before we go, it would be not good if we missed to say this. I jokingly said when the bread was forgotten. By the way, I take responsibility for that, Donnie. I always check the trays. I just didn't check it today. I'm learning not to be obsessive compulsive disorder. I paid for it today, but it was fun. Someone let the kids, if I see them out there. Let's look at this Romans 5, 6 through 8. While we were still helpless, at the right time, Christ did what? Died for the ungodly. One will hardly die for a righteous man. Perhaps for a good man, someone will dare to die. Let's read together then verse 8. But God demonstrates his own love toward us, and that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. What I'm saying, do you remember a few moments ago when I said, well, we forgot the bread, so I forgot my conclusion? If I were to preach until 11:30, or if I were to preach till 1, or if I were to keep going till 5 o'clock, is there anybody in the room that would be willing to stay and hear? If it was truly a message from God and from my heart, and listen, got her hand up. I'm not asking you to do that. Let's take it a step farther. Would you die for me? Of course you. You're a good guy. I'm not a good guy. I'm carnal flesh just like you. Apostle Paul said nothing good dwells in him. He said there's nothing good in me. The only good that's in us is because of Jesus Christ. And that's what Paul's trying to say here. He said, well, we were helpless. And this is the first condition to be saved. What was the first thing I needed to be saved? You got to realize you're lost. And once you realize you're lost, if you look to Christ, you believe he's the Christ. See, this is an unprecedented opportunity. There's none like it. Someone dying for us? Paul says, one will hardly die for a righteous man, though perhaps for a good man. I just come out and say, will you die for me? We seem to be pretty quick and say, sure, I'd do that. How many think you'd be willing to die for me? Come on, Dave. And then I say, okay, come on, because I already got the death on. The guy's waiting outside. He's going to kill me, but you want to take my place. Ready for that? Thank you, by the way. I'll do anything I can to help you with the daughter lunch. Thank you. Good. Now I'm a dead man anyway, right now I'm a kid. And so that's what Paul's saying. And he says, perhaps for the good man, someone would dare even die. So a righteous man, yeah, that's something like that. The good man, well, it'd be kind of hard to find somebody to die for somebody that's just kind of a good man. God demonstrates his own love for us when we're still sinners. I want you to think of the most vile person that's ever walked the planet besides you. Think of the most vile person that's ever walked the most wicked, evil person that's ever walked the planet, whether they're still alive or not, beside you. You probably pick someone that you despise, you hate. You maybe think, man, they're in hell and they deserve it, they're burning in hell with it. And ask yourself, would I be willing to die for them? And now I want to go back to you. I said beside you because who's the person on the planet who normally thinks the worst person on? They normally think we're the worst ones, right? I'm no good, I know this, you already died for a sinner, according to verse 8. God demonstrates his own love for us when we were still sinners. I close with this, and then we'll sing. Well, let's sing what's the real foundation. We're going to sing a song. I'm going to stand in your mind right now because we haven't sung this song forever, have we done? It's called The Church's One Foundation. You ready that? Because the church's one foundation is Jesus Christ alone. Right, we're going to sing it. I think it was in the Philippines. Whenever you ask a woman to marry you, what do they call that guy anyway? Beyonce, bridegroom, the groom, right? When you ask the father if you have permission to marry your daughter, you're supposed to provide something to that father, like what do they call it, a dowry, I believe it is. And down in this particular area, this island, cows, a lot of farmers and all, so cows were very expensive. So if the son-in-law said, I'll give you one of my cows, I mean, that's really pricey. And if you gave a cow, I mean, I really love your daughter. If you gave 2 cows, I'll really love your daughter. If you gave 3 cows, that was unheard of for the son-in-law, future son-in-law, ever offer the father-in-law 3 cows. But if you did, it's like, I gotta have it. I love her, I'll feed her, I'll die for her. Apparently on this island, it's supposed to be a true story. You can Google it. There's people that say, I like to think it's true. He offered 8 cows. 8 cows! So I'll give you 8 cows for your daughter. Mother-in-law said, deal. How do you suppose that woman walked around the next week until her wedding day? She walked around all dejected. Woe is me, I'm no good. No, sir. You could see her. They said anywhere she went on the island, you could tell her. That's got to be her. She was all dressed up, happy, smiling. Because he was an 8 cow woman. You are not an 8 cow woman. You are not an 8 cow man. You are a one son sinner. Every one of us. Every one of us in this room is a one son sinner. The Son is Jesus Christ, who gave himself for us. We're the sinner. The Son is Jesus. God didn't give us 8 cows, he gave us his Son. God demonstrates his love for us, and while we were still sinners, Christ what? Died for us. The least we can do then is live for us. Walking the house is easy work. Saying, I believe Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, that's easy. Being baptized in water for a few months, that's easy. Being part of this fellowship, that's easy. Going out there and facing it, the tribulation, making it gets more difficult. Paul says, be encouraged, it's going to happen. Keep focused on the end of the road, because the end of the road is heaven itself. So let's sing together, shall we, about that church's one foundation. Everything we talked about today is right here in this song. So bless you as you make the decision to follow him today. come to him today if that is still your desire to step forward at our invitation and go out and live this way. And confidence in the hope that we have. The one who sees us and knows us and loves us. The church is my foundation, Jesus Christ the Lord. He is His new creation, by water and the word. And He gave His Son to be His holy bride. With His own blood He bought her, and for her life He died. Elect from every nation, yet one holy earth. Her charter of salvation, one Lord, one faith, one birth. One holy name she blesses, partakes one holy food, and to one hope she presses with every grace and good. Yet she on earth has union with God the Three in One, and listen sweet communion with those who rest in one. Oh, happy and holy, forgive us, grace and we, like them weak and lowly, from thy That's right. Made up the words of this forgotten hymn. The last verse on this one does not say like them, but meek and lowly. On high may we flow. On this it says, may we in love. God loves you. And I didn't need the movie or the series Touched by Name to tell me. I think I was always on Touched by Name, but I can't. But I said, God is sent to let you know He loves you. God loves you. Amen. God loves you. Just feel that we need to be reminded of that. Well, before we go today, Jamie, we really talked about reading, talked about spaghetti. He said, well, Dean, why don't you go get your tickets? I've been carrying in my wallet for the last 7 weeks or however long we've been doing this. We had a great time. Entertainment, I'm almost scared to ask. But it's going to be fun. So see Jamie after service today. If you're interested in more than that, you. All right. Let's see, who's going to have our closing prayer? Home Greg. Boogie.
Lord, I want to thank you for bringing us together again to worship in your house, to feel the love you spread among us as a family. I want to thank you for your son, for he came to earth to open the doorway of heaven for us. Only through him will we make it. We will take this word out into the world now and spread it. Bring others to the love you have for them. Bless this family this week, Lord. Bless the ones that are in the hospital. Bless the ones that are here. Keep them strong. Keep their eyes focused on you, Lord. It's only through you that we're going to make it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, buddy.
Hey, buddy, next part I didn't get to
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, that's true, that's true.
Take care.
I make it round with white. Hey, how are you? You're headed back?
Good chance. Thank you.
I know that.
Somebody moved. That Lana girl, she moved. We got grabbed. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it had to be Lana.
I didn't complain, I just said, I don't know who did that, but.
Grass everywhere. Somebody walked through the grass and picked up and cleaned everywhere. She goes out.
Sorry, did I? Oh, no. Okay. Didn't come up. Oh, we always do. We handle it quite well. Well, oh, yeah, yeah. We just gotta go get it done. Yeah, we gotta keep something there.
I'm taking this piece.
I'm gonna set up the first table.
Now we gotta fit it. Now we gotta fit it too.
That's the first thing. From there, you got it, man.
We want to fit to that. Okay.
We didn't make anything to this,
Ball, what's behind it?
We're gonna angle it. I know when I see the chair, I feel. I want part of the rest of the message. Sure, dude. I was right here.
Okay.
Unprecedented. Never done it. It's. Yeah. Yeah, you did. That's funny.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
You guys good?
Good job.
Good?
All right, come on.
You gotta take care of it. You know what I thought of later?
He's a Regan.
You're coming with me right now. Girls are gonna come to
His body's not there.
Take me to bye, bye, have a good day. Lily! Bye, see ya.
This is one boy I want to know when he gets to eat. Hey, what I found
Okay. Can Grandma help you? Good job.
And that's a wrap. This
Hey,
is
Grandma, put
April
it on you.
23rd, 2016. Hopedale Church of Christ, greatest bunch of people on the planet.
Here,
God bless y'all.
okay.